Ladies and gentlemen, I have the first breaking news of Dental Festival. He doesn't know it yet. I found the nurse that separated the next speaker and me at birth. There's litigation going on. I cannot get into it, but finally found her. Dr. Dar Radfar. He's going to be talking about the importance of sleep. Dr. Rad fell asleep at the wheel in 2009 and crashed his car into a tree. Since then, he has devoted his career to help people avoid this and many other issues with poor sleep. A diplomat of the American Sleep and Breathing Academy and over 2,000 patients treated, he will share his tips for better sleep. It is really my honor to introduce my bro, Dr. Dar Radfar. Killing it.
Hello, judges. So I was about 6 years old when I experienced my childhood trauma. How old were you all? I was holding my mom's hand in the country of Iran on a very busy street, cars going everywhere, illegally driving, and it was very windy, and her hair came out of her hair covering. And right away, two men ran up to her and I, as I'm holding my mom's hand, and said, "Cover your hair, otherwise you will get a beating." My inner Bruce Lee child self closed my fist, and I was about to punch the man right where I know it counts. But as I opened my eyes, he let her go and walked away. A few weeks later, I found myself at the base of a mountain, ready to escape Iran into Turkey. There were horses, beautiful Arabian horses, and my mom got on one horse, my dad and my 9-month-old brother on another. My dad had courageously stepped into his masculine menergy and dived into helping us escape our country. I got on a horse with a gentleman who helped us escape. They were Kurdish men, known as the Coyotes back then. And he tells me couple things. He tells me, "Don't pee while you're sitting behind me. If you pee, there's going to be a problem. And don't fall asleep. If you fall asleep, you're going to fall off the horse and you're going to die. Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep." And that was my constant issue growing up as a child and as a young adult. And in 2009, as you heard, I did fall asleep. I failed. I fell asleep at the wheel. I crashed my car into a tree going 40 miles an hour, not one scratch. I did a home sleep test. I knew something was wrong. I was starting to snore. I am known as Dr. Snore, by the way. I did test positive for sleep apnea. They gave me a CPAP machine. I couldn't wear it. And I made myself the first oral appliance in my office. I was patient 0. I was excited because the first night I slept amazing. And since then, I've treated over a couple thousand patients. And I've noticed through my treatments that sleep can affect your health, your wealth, and your relationships. John has high blood pressure in my office. He also has a history of cancer. Anyone know here that has anyone survived cancer or know someone who's survived cancer? Give someone next to you a high five, please. High five. Boom. 5 times higher risk of cancer of any kind if you're not treated for sleep apnea. You're going to remember that high five. So John, high blood pressure, history of cancer. I'm looking at his mouth. He has large scalloped tongue, grinding of the teeth going forward. These are classic indications of sleep apnea. He tells me he failed his CPAP. I make him an oral appliance. 2 months later, he's off his blood pressure medication. Health. Wealth. Sam works at CarMax. he's doing very poorly. He wakes up grumpy. He's not focused. He has really memory loss. We make him a mouthpiece. Within the first quarter, he becomes the #1 salesperson at CarMax. His focus, his energy went up. Sleep can affect your wealth. Relationships, my favorite part, because as some of you may know, Dr. Rad brings people back into the bedroom. Janice and Jerry haven't slept in the bedroom for 12 years together. They've been married for over 40. I make him a mouthpiece, and now Janice comes in and gives me a big old hug and says, thank you for allowing me to get back into the bedroom with my husband. And those stories are endless. As dentists and dental professionals, we have a beautiful capability of helping people sleep better, to affect their health, their wealth, and their relationships. A lot of things that we are noticing now is sleep is affecting mental health. 46% of patients who are diagnosed with depression are because they have sleep apnea, because it affects your serotonin production. Who here feels happy when they don't sleep well? Grumpy Dr. Rad was my name at the office when I used to come in the mornings, because I'm a dentist, and that's kind of grumpy by itself. But you got to do a song and dance when you come into the office. The energy of you is what your patients and your staff feels. If you have poor, bad energy, and I ask you all, if you do have a sleep issue, you've been told that you snore, you feel tired throughout the day, get a home sleep test. Notice I said home because no one has time to go to a lab anymore, right? Get a home sleep test. Knowledge is power. If you have to wear a CPAP, try it. Usually the severe patients end up with CPAP. But we as a dental professional, as a dental entity, can help these patients with the one other treatment, and that's an oral appliance. So I'd like to go back and discuss about my 6-year-old self. About 1.5 years ago, I did something called breath work. Has anyone ever done any breath work? Wow, I'm very impressed. As a scientist, I always believe science, spirituality. Now I think everyone here is starting to realize how important our spirituality and our energy is, right? So about 1 year ago, I was at this retreat with Danny Morell, and we went over a bunch of different kinds of energies, which if I'm blessed to go to the next round, I will share with you what I learned. Most powerful things I've ever learned in my life. But we did breath work. And I laid down on a yoga mat with 700 other people, put blindfolds on, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is some crazy foo-foo stuff. I hear people screaming like there's an exorcism going on. I hear people crying. And I'm like, man, I don't have it that bad. And about 3 or 4 minutes roughly into the breath work, all of a sudden, I see my 6-year-old self walking up to me. Please mind you, this is not a plant-based medicine type of retreat. I am 100% sober. And I'm like, this kid with blue eyes, I know this kid. And I go, wow, maybe I'm supposed to have a conversation with him finally. So I get on one knee, and I'm looking at this kid, and I tell him, hey, little Dar, I'm you, but 40 years later, I know I look pretty good. You're going to go through a lot. You're going to escape your country. You're going to be told not to fall asleep. You're going to do an excellent job not falling asleep off that horse. You're going to come to this country and not going to speak a word of English. English is going to be your 4th language. You're going to get F's in English. You're going to get an F in public speaking. But you're going to push through, as we all are going to try to push through, because you're not going to play victim. Stay confident. And one day, you're going to have an unfortunate incident in 2009. You're going to fall asleep at the wheel and crash your car. And you're going to be diagnosed with some weird sleep thing, but it's going to propel you to help thousands of patients and teach this to other dentists all across the world. And on a September day in 2024, you're going to be in a place called Key West, Florida. It's really hot outside and really humid. But you're going to tell your story in front of some amazing, beautiful humans. You made it. Thank you.
Wow.